Okay. Like I said previously, if you do have questions, we have the AHUG Slack, we have mailing lists, and lots of opportunities to kind of engage with other people. Those on the Slack might have noticed, I posted something about our presentation and got some really good feedback, from some of the developers. The presentations at some point in the next week or so, we'll kind of dice those up into the different talks and post those on our YouTube channel. So definitely please, check those out. And let's see. So Brent, I think today we saw kind of a wide variety of things here. We saw sort of different platforms, a lot of good tool talks. I don't know.
Stuff. It shows the maturing community as we move forward in high performance computing. The A64FX is still an outstanding processor. It's great to see the capabilities coming out of that thing. Ampere for their, how to put it politely, lack of aggressive entrance into HPC. They're running HPC applications really quite well. Given that it's an N1 architecture like the AWS Graviton, the performance portability back and forth, I think, is super interesting, right? As long as you're not maxing out the memory bandwidth of each of those, you get to see some interesting scalability across them. And that as a base layer, I think is really encouraging as everybody has hopefully seen. Arm announced the V1 architecture, and we're looking forward to new silicon there, but also the N2 architecture. And with the Ultra Max, the Ampere 120 core box coming, I think there's a lot of interesting technologies to play with, and I'm encouraged by what I see here and what's going on in the community. How about you? What highlights would you point out?
Right. That's I think definitely, I think having run a couple of these virtual events, hopefully we'll get back to in person at some point, but I think, last year we saw this heavy focus on A64FX, and this year it's been really encouraging to see some similar results on Graviton, on some of these newer platforms. And then also, just that, like you said, that people are able to use techniques like, Jeff Hammond talked about this effort with NVIDIA to really support, Fortran, C++ parallelism as an alternative to, spending a lot of time with OpenMP pragmas and doing a lot of optimization specific to a certain compiler or a certain device. So we're starting to see a little bit more performance portability, and hopefully, I think we'll see some more SVE-enabled processors that kind of furthers that in 2022. That's what I'm looking forward to, at least.
The one piece of that that's interesting, I think, is that the tools, the Alinea tools out of ARM, have recently boned up with respect to Python and NumPy and so on. And I'm told that that's quite a capability that we're very interested in sharing. I think, in terms of SVE, I think pretty much all future HPC-oriented silicon based on ARM will have SVE. And, given that, I would encourage people to get on that Fujitsu chip and start playing with it and see how it looks, feels, tastes, that sort of thing, because that's a sign of the future. HBM as well, but HBM is something that's going to be optional to the implementation of the silicon. It's not baked into the architecture the way SVE is. So, the future is coming, but we've also got kit now that is indicative of that, really, really on the high end with the A64FX.
So is there anything to look forward to for SC21 that you can talk about?
No, one of the liabilities or one of the downsides of the ARM business model is that we can't pre-announce partners' announcements or their roadmaps. And so we're dying here waiting for announcements to come out and new silicon to ship and that sort of thing. And it's, we hang on partners who do press releases. We don't drive their press releases. We get to put a statement in them and support them, that sort of thing. But the partners are clearly in the driver's seat here. In many cases, we have a reasonable idea of what they're doing. In a lot of cases, we don't actually, because the partner's taken their IP and gone off and done their thing with it. So sometimes it's a bit of a surprise to us. But when it comes to HPC, I think we're fairly in tune with the different projects going on. And it's, just like expectant parents, we're just sitting here waiting for the day that some of this stuff hits, because it's very exciting to think about and see what's coming down the road.
Great. Yeah. That's,
so another successful, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
As I'll say, we'll look forward to that next week. So, or whatever announcements other people may make later tomorrow. So.
Right. So another successful event, AHUG event. You're getting quite good at these at this point, Mr. Moderator here. I'd like to take this moment, if I could, to thank you for your leadership of AHUG. And for those of you playing from home or maybe from an office, if you're lucky, we have sent a token of Arm's appreciation to Jeff. If you could pull that, open the package and surprise yourself with what we've sent you. I know you already opened it.
I have to say it's quite heavy. So I went ahead and pulled it out, because otherwise you would see me struggle. But
so
yes.
we really appreciate your efforts. I think AHUG is in really good shape right now. I want to encourage people to join, participate, view the materials that you've helped get going. I think it's a crowning achievement on the Arm and HPC thus far. And I see it as going gangbusters in the future as more and more architectures come out and more HPC gets done on the Arm silicon. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Brent, and thank you for this this nice token. This is definitely appreciated, and obviously, if it wasn't so heavy, I would find a way to share it with our other directors. But I think thank you as well to our board of directors. Obviously, Mitsisa, Christelle, Steve, Valerio, and Michelle. I know they are all in and out and had a few other things. Thank you also to Arm for continued support, especially John Linford, who helped set up the Zoom for us today. But yeah, I think definitely, one of the great things about these symposiums that I can't really take credit for is that, each of these that we've done, we've seen new participants. We've seen, just a great diversity of kind of new approaches and new applications and solutions. So definitely, I'm very appreciative, and I also want to encourage everybody who's attending to kind of keep reaching out to your peers, to share the good news about Arm HPC, and hopefully engage with us, because I think we do have a very good kind of tight knit but also growing community. So thank you all for your support, and thank you for presenting. And I do want to remind everybody, this is not the last event we have over the next couple of weeks. We have the hackathon. John, I think, told me that they had kind of set a sort of limit of 50 or 60 people. I think he said they had already reached that, but definitely, if you're interested to participate, please reach out to us. And then also we'll have even more talks and content from some of these partners that Brent mentioned next week on November 17th. So definitely lots more ways to engage, and we hope that everybody does that. Okay, any final thoughts, Brent?
Nope, I think the world looks great. I'm thrilled with how things are going. Looking forward to the rest of SC, and looking forward to bigger and better mountains to climb in the new year.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for attending, and we appreciate you joining virtually. Hopefully we'll see you at some point, in person somewhere in the future. But until then, stay safe, and we'll continue chatting online.